Hello everyone, I'm Brian Croy Dragon and welcome back to Vox Adventures. As you can see, the summer season, the Midsummer event is upon us. There's a world for us to explore, so let's go check it out. Oh, of course. So, yeah, you got your tour guide here who's selling stuff. Decor items. Diamond armor, gold armor, chain armor. Weapons and wands, bow and trident, tools and shields, treasures, emotes and titles, job, off hands, job, off, job, you're okay. Charms, trinkets and miscellaneous, and yeah. Now, we're just gonna wait until, nighttime comes. Oh, we got refreshments right here. I'm just gonna check. Hey. Give me one moment here. What? Really? Still just the same, I'm guessing? Oh, I don't even. Oh, there we go. Yeah. Going to be kidding me. Okay, let's try this again. Correctly. Just give it a moment. I'm so lazy, Susan. What am I doing? A disc scratch? Okay, now let's see here. And yeah, it's basically still the same. Wait. Base supposed to be on top, or is the patch supposed to be on top? Well, in step 3 it has the base on top, so I'm guessing that's the way it's gonna. Oh, no, wait. Yeah, step 6, it shows patch on top instead of base. What am I thinking? Yeah, let's just put it back the correct way. And then we'll begin our adventure. So I finished reading The Mort to Arthur, excellent read, long read. I started that back in February. I'm now reading Funds and Mortals by Bernard Cornwell, which follows William Shakespeare's younger brother Richard. No, he's not made up. He actually existed, but differently in real life. So yeah, if this is your first time, there's enemies to fight? Oh jeez, are you joking? Can't believe it, just wasted a night messing around with a resource pack. Go upstream like spawning salmon. So yeah, if you're new to this, there's basically more blazes than in the Nether. To paraphrase Shakespeare, the Nether is empty and all the blazes are here. Oh, Leech Man. Jeez. Oh, you son of a... Not even Dr. Moreau would make a leech man. And that's for perfectly good reason. In the original book, it was all his tactic, his methods were done for creating his beastmen was surgically, and not exactly enough body on a leech to, well, you get the idea. A very, very messy idea. I have, of course, read the book. Otherwise, how could I tell you? I've not seen any of the film adaptations, however. I have no interest in seeing one adaptation, however, and that's The Island of Lost Souls, and that is for the very good reason that H.G. Wells himself disowned it. No, really, if... Okay, here... It's a really bad case of, because they were putting more... who was it? Paramount who made it? Yeah, I think it was Paramount. They were putting more emphasis on the horror than the other aspects of the story. I mean, I like a good horror story that has a literary pedigree. Let me rephrase that. I like a good horror movie that has a literary pedigree, but, yeah, you should not try to usurp the other themes just to go for the horror stuff. Dr. Moreau is one of the all-time great mad scientists. He was even featured in the Mad Scientist episode of 100 Years of Horror. Or rather, some film adaptations of the book The Island of Dr. Moreau were featured. Now keep in mind, I've never seen any screen adaptations, and what the hell is going on with OBS? It's not, oh great, it's not responding, and just look, okay, there we go, that's better. I'm telling you, when the Windows 11 update comes, I hope this not responding problem just ceases to be. Oh god, this is... I'm really in the shadows here. Yeah, I mean, I've not seen any film adaptations of The Island of Dr. Moreau, but I do have a graphic novel adaptation. I have the original book and I have a graphic novel adaptation. As long as we're waiting, I'll go grab it. And the book! power. I pretty much thought it would have stopped recording or something. Oh, good lord, what's going on here? Steam, what are you up to? No, I was wondering why I couldn't find this. For some unfathomable reason, it wasn't in the W section of the classics section. Yeah, so here we are, the island of Dr. Moreau. The Modern Library Classics Edition. Very, very good. I quite like this book. And then we have this graphic novel adaptation here, which follows the book to the letter. It's by Insight Comics, and they did a whole line of these adaptations of H.G. Wells' stories. This is the only one that I've got, though. A good film adaptation, graphic novel adaptation, or whatever adaptation is no excuse for not reading the original book. I highly recommend it. Oh, come on. Can you perhaps just lay down? Sit down, lay down, one of the two. Well, this is indeed one of the two. And as long as it's not on my hands or anything, I'm fine with it. Geez, I pretty much spent most of this recording underwater. Not that I have any problem with that. course, considering my stream for R&R Saturday is going to be pretty aquatic, I'd say that's pretty much... It's pretty fitting that I'm spending much of this recording underwater. Yes, Alex? Excuse me. You know, one of these days I should just try a recording of Vox Adventures where I stay entirely under the water. How will that be? Oh, I don't know. The ocean, like any other place, is full of beauty and danger. Good and evil. Yes, that's pretty much the world in a nutshell. Filled with beauty and danger and good and evil. How old was I when I was introduced to Dr. Moreau? Oh jeez, I don't know. There's so many imitation characters out there, how am I supposed to remember? Definitely wasn't on Wishbone. It definitely wasn't by Wishbone, I'll tell you that. What do I remember of that show? I don't remember a lot of stories being introduced to me and a lot of other things. Let's see, our family opera, definitely. Frankenstein, yes. The Legend of Sleepy Hollow, not so much. I've been introduced to the Disney adaptation prior, and that's still the best screen adaptation there is. Robin Hood, no, because there's a surplus of Robin Hood screen adaptations. Or, no, let me rephrase that. How much even is surplus? There's a legion of Robin Hood adaptations. I've seen the animated Disney film. I've seen Prince of Thieves by that point. Around the same time, Young Robin Hood was airing. There is just a lot of Robin Hood related things. And when you get down to it, that's probably why the King Raven trilogy interested me so much, because it's an adaptation that does something new. It's set during the Norman invasion of Wales. Just as Sherwood is actually by Park Godwin is actually set during the time of William the Conqueror. So again, it does something new. For all of the Norman-Saxon conflict, not a lot of it is set when the conflict would have been fresh. When it would have been new. Now, I know that the Robin Hood stories basically, they did not begin during the reign of Richard Coeur de Lion. No, they were actually began during the reign of one we know as simply as Edward, and it is thanks to some work by Tony Robinson that we can identify this Edward as Edward II, the son of Edward Longshanks. Edward I, whichever you prefer to call him. I mean, Edward Longshanks sounds much better, especially since the numbering didn't come about until Edward III ascended to the throne. Edward III was the son of Edward II and thus the grandson of Edward I. So you had three Edwards and Crick and six. So you basically had one Edward coming after the other. Edward III's successor was his grandson Richard II, son of his firstborn son Edward, Prince of Wales, more commonly known as Edward the Black Prince, even though he wasn't actually called that in his lifetime. He was simply Edward, Prince of Wales. I'd like to do something similar to what Stephen Lawhead and Park Godwin have done. And as someone who's Gaelic, ethnically, Dad's family is Gaelic Irish, Mom's is Highland Scottish. Two different forms of Gaelic, it's just easier to say Gaelic. As someone who is Gaelic, I figured said it post-Norman invasion of Ireland because, yeah, there's a reason it's called the Norman invasion of Ireland and not the Norman conquest of Ireland. England did not conquer Ireland until the Tudors came, and even then it took from Henry VIII's reign all the way to Elizabeth I, and it pretty much ended with her reign. So basically it took most of the reign of the Tudors to conquer Ireland. As much as I hate Oliver Cromwell for his genocidal actions in Ireland, it didn't take him half as much time to conquer Ireland, but then again, there were some advancements. Not some serious advancements, I mean it was only in the 17th century, and Elizabeth I died in 1603. I'm thinking maybe the 15th century, for the story. have the Lord of Ireland, because at the time Ireland would have been divided between the Gaelic kingdoms and the Lordship of Ireland, which was founded following the, during or following the Anglo-Norman invasion. So the Lord of Ireland would have been Henry V of England in 1417. And Gungan is brother, John of Lancaster, the Duke of Bedford, in there also. And probably in a role similar to Prince John. Or Lord John, we should call him, because in England, calling a king's son, referring to them as prince and then their name, that didn't come about until Henry VIII's son, Edward VI. Until then, a king's son, well, obviously they were referred to as the princes, but they'd be referred to as either Earl or Lord, and then their name. As John held the title of Lord of Ireland, he should properly be called Lord John. And on the subject of the Prince of Wales, it's the name Len Prince of Wales, not Prince name here of Len of Wales. So for Edward Prince of Wales, who I've mentioned, it would probably be, he'd either be Earl Edward Prince of Wales or Lord Edward Prince of Wales, or just Edward Prince of Wales. The Saxon-Norman conflict was something introduced by Walter Scott, and it appears in one of my favourite novels, Ivanhoe. Now it's a bit of an anachronism for a conflict between Saxons and Normans to be happening during Richard I, but still I like the story and I want to pay tribute to it, and not just one of its adaptations like Ivanhoe the King's Knight, which I love. It was my introduction to the story, and it goes more in the adventures of style. It was an animated series, and there was a lot that went in the adventures of style. You had the magical adventures of Quasimodo, you had the Legend of White Fang, Ivanhoe I definitely like because it actually got a conclusion. Richard returns home to England, and it's a happy ending. We're not left hanging or anything. It's not like what happened with the magical adventures of Quasimodo, like one season and that's it. No resolution, no Quasimodo finding his parents. Yeah, really, the reason I like Ivanhoe the King's Knight so much is that we get an ending, and good lord, it's kind of infuriating how some shows just have a. Some shows back then had a plot and didn't really give us an actual ending. It was just like, oh, the kids won't care. No, we do care. We did care. Kids today, they still care. They want to see kids back then and kids today want to see a definitive ending to the story. And seeing Richard back on the throne, John going into exile, and Ivanhoe and Rowena marrying, it was just a happy ending. It was what we wanted. And let me tell you something. I didn't God. I didn't see the entire series when I was a kid. I only saw like a handful of episodes because that was basically how it was back then. Thanks to YouTube, I've been able to watch it, and oh, that ending, it was so well deserved. And 52 episodes, but it's a happy ending. Back in 2002, there was an animated adaptation of The Lost World by Arthur Conan Doyle. Again, it features a lot of the same English voice cast as Ivanhoe and Magical Adventures of Quasimodo, The Legend of White Fang, and they just stopped after one season, and it's just infuriating that they do that. They just, it's like, okay, we've got enough episodes to, no need to finish the story or anything. Just my god. I didn't discover it until, well, a few years ago, but still. I mean, the voice cast was Canadian, so why wasn't it airing here in Canada? I mean, it probably was, but I don't remember it being on Teletoon, YTV, or anything like that. Probably wasn't even on PBS. Wait, that's American, what am I saying? I don't know if it was on any English-speaking network that I know of. But there were DVD releases apparently. I remember seeing them on Amazon. Can't find them anymore. I'd probably have better luck finding them at a dollar store or something. And you know what? I fully intend to write a story that pays homage to that adaptation and that actually gives the ending that it deserves. Oh, good lord. Imagine if Avatar only had ended after like 13 episodes. That would have been most disappointing, one of the most disappointing things ever. Don't know why that number is even needed. Like, just give them what they need to tell the first portion of the story and then just start from there. Audiences deserve a proper ending. Yeah, and they definitely deserve it. We all deserve a proper ending for a story. I remember in my high school years, we rented Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid from the library. And then we get to my introduction to the Bolivian army ending, and just I couldn't believe they ended it that way. Yeah, there's no chance that they survived, but still. I'd like to have seen the end result. A final shootout. I mean, yeah, I know that. I do believe that a good western doesn't need a shootout for a climax, but when your protagonists are outlaws during the from the twilight of the Old West, you want to see them get some sort of ending. You want to see these bank robbers get some sort of ending, and yeah, they're technically the heroes, but I mean, they're a bit more charismatic villain protagonists than anything else, than heroes, but still, when their job is basically robbery, you want to see them go out in one final blaze of glory instead of just cutting to gunshots and orders to fire in whatever language is spoken in Bolivia, like I even know. I haven't seen that movie in years. I'd like to see it again though. A reason why I like the northern subgenre better than the main genre of the western is because it has a wider range of settings. You can go well into the 1970s, I think. Because there was some major event during the 70s that is a popular setting for a northern. I mean, I do plan to write a northern, but set in 1919, so make it post World War One. But yeah, it's basically a northern. You can go as far as you can. A western, excluding the proto-westerns like the leather-stalking towns and all that. You pretty much you're pretty much restricted to the not to like, oh god, I don't know, like the mid 19th, from the mid 19th century to the early 20th. And that's just really restricting, isn't it? I mean, I'm pretty sure I could find a good story to write, but I don't want to write a western. I want to write a northern. I'm Canadian, damn it! Ironically, yeah, ironically, actually, no, wait, I would say the same thing if I was Alaskan, because the northern, it's not strictly Canada. One of the other, it's a northern is either set in Canada or Alaska. And the latter setting was actually a part of my introduction to the northern genre. First northern I ever saw was the animated movie Balto. Oh, what's going on with the server? Oh, jeez. I'm just gonna say right now, Bob Hoskins' performance as the Goose Boris was one of the best performances in that movie. I mean, of course it is. He's Bob Hoskins. He gave the best performance as Iago that I know of, opposite Anthony Hopkins as Othello. But I'd just like to point out that it was that adaptation. It was using brown face. Othello was portrayed as Arabic. Because let's face it, it's either he's more means he was black or more means he was Arabic. It's never he was just a Moor as a in that ethnic group. It was, oh good lord, Moor was interchangeable with a lot of words. It was one of the words that was interchangeable with was Indian back then. But how the hell does that even work? India is about as far away from Moorish territory as you can possibly get. How do two words even become interchangeable like that? I quite like Anthony Hopkins' performance as Othello. He's also the best Othello I've ever seen. No, I've not seen Balto in a while. I'm pretty sure it's on Netflix unless it's been taken off. So I'll have to watch it again. I mean, I like to... I mean, I've got a script for a commentary on screen adaptations of The Exodus in the works, so if I ever get that done, who knows. And that basically came to me when I was listening to the Prince of Egypt the musical on Spotify. Oh god, if I have problems with the Prince of Egypt's the movie's anachronisms, they're gonna be damn sure I'm gonna have a problem with Ramses calling his firstborn son Seti II. No, his firstborn son was Amen-Her-Khepshef. Seti II was his grandson. Merneptah's son. Why was I pointing like this? What the hell was that about? Yeah, interesting thing to note about The Prince of Egypt the musical is that Ramses' mother, Tuya, is actually alive well into the second act. And there's a good reason for that, is because Ramses' firstborn son, he's an infant. At least I think. No, right. It does feature his birth, but... yeah, I'm gonna have to re-listen to it. Gonna have to re-listen to it. I mean, on the one hand, following what they do for Moses, they did for Moses the Lawgiver and the Ben Kingsley film Moses, that's having it be having the firstborn son being an infant. I mean, it's pragmatic. You don't need to have a child actor. You just have to, I don't know, have a doll or something. On the other hand, it's not historically accurate. Amen-Her-Khepshef died when Ramses was 49 and Merneptah would have been 19. Yeah, not an infant, not a child. He would have been an adult. With a child of his own. And something funny, not ha ha funny, but gee, that's interesting funny, is that give me a moment to regain my track of thought. Is that Ramesses' a great royal wife at the time, Nefertari, his favorite wife, predeceased their son by a year. Nefertari actually plays a part in the musical. I'm pretty sure she doesn't die. I haven't gotten that part yet, but I haven't even seen the musical, so how should I know? I mean, she didn't die in the Ten Commandments. And given the Prince of Egypt's dependence on that film, I really don't think Nefertari's gonna die in the stage adaptation. I've seen my fair share of Exodus adaptations, so who knows how long that commentary would be. Hopefully it wouldn't take an hour, but I have a lot to talk about. My commentary is primarily going to be a discussion of how things are done differently depending on adaptations. Between adaptations. Yes, of course, my favorite adaptation and the best I've ever seen is the Ben Kingsley film Moses, but still I want to discuss how other adaptations handle things. Yeah, just swimming back and forth like I'm a fish in a tank. Oh, come on. Well, that's all for today, everyone. Oh, jeez. Piss off! Undead right! Well, as I was saying, that's all for today, everyone. I'm Brian Croy Dragon, signing out. Stay straight!